Three video effects in Premiere Pro have sets of tools called secondary color correction. They let you select regions within a clip that you want to work on based on the hue, saturation, and luma of those regions. I'm going to show you two examples in this lesson. So to follow along, go to Working Files, go to Premiere Pro Projects, and go on down to Secondary Controls. We're going to work on two clips here, this building and this seaside view here. There are three video effects that have secondary color correction controls. We're going to work with two of them. We're going to work with the three-way color corrector and RGB curves. The third effect that has secondary color correction controls is the RGB color corrector, which we've basically taken a pass on in this course. So we're going to stick with the two that we've been working on throughout the course, the three-way color corrector and RGB curves. We're going to start with this building here and click on that, and I've already applied the three-way color corrector to it. Let's just open that up and scroll on down a bit here. And there is this group of tools called secondary color correction, which you just might have just passed by, but in fact it's a very powerful subset of tools here. Let's open that up. You see three things here basically, hue, saturation, and luma, plus these little eyedroppers. Well, there's a lot going on here. Let's open up these three things, the hue, the saturation, and the luma. And right now they're all kind of in neutral, basically saying that you need to tell us what the hue, saturation, and luma is that you want to preserve, that you want to work on. And you use the eyedropper tool for that. To see what you're doing, you switch on the mask. Click on that, and it turns everything white, because that's how these guys are set. But once we click on an eyedropper, it opens this thing back up again. So you can select the region that you want to work on. So I want to change the color of this building. So I hold down the controller to the command key to get a nice selection here to fatten up that little eyedropper and click there. And watch what happens to those three graphs there. Bam. We just told those three graphs that we've got this hue there, kind of a light yellow. There's the saturation, and there's the luma, very bright. Now we want to expand that a bit so we get more of the building. So we can use this little plus eyedropper to expand it a bit. And it might not expand all that much because the building is pretty much a single color and a single luminance. But we'll just go over there and try a different part of the building and hold down controller command and click there. See if things changed. It changed a little bit, but not much. Now we're going to refine our selection using these three sliders here. We'll start with hue and see if expanding it makes any difference. You can start picking up too much other hue around there. Let's take it down toward red. We don't want to go too far because we're going to pick up too much outside the building there. Something like that. These little triangles are the gradual fall off. You can sort of smooth the edges if you need to. For the most part though, just dragging those little squares will do the job for you. Let's take a look at saturation to expand the view a bit here. Let's kind of pull it out to the right. Now we're picking up some stuff down there in the ground, so we'll just kind of limit it to that. And going down to luma here. We're pretty much maxed out at the top end of luma here. Let's kind of expand it to make it a little bit darker, look for darker areas. And that expands a little bit, taking care of some of the branches that were attached to the front of the building there. So what we're doing is we're saying the stuff that's white is stuff that we will work on here with this effect. Nothing else will change if we change the color or the tonality. The only thing that will change will be this building. But we'll also be changing these little spots down here. Now we could put a track mat here to cut them out, but for the purposes of this exercise, we're not going to worry about that. Now we've done our work with the secondary color correction controls to select the area we want to fix. So now we need to fix it. So I'm going to go up here a bit like this. And I'll just turn off the mask, close down this little disclosure triangle, and we're going to take a look at what we're going to fix. We do have a tonal range option here, so we can take a look at it. Everything's white there, so that's all highlights. So if we make any changes in the midtones and the shadows, nothing will change here because only highlights will change here anyways. So I'll turn that off. And now I'll show you that you can change the tonality here if you want to, but it probably won't look all that good. I'll slide you to the left there for the output. Not so bad, but it's kind of turning kind of an ugly gray there after a while. But you can reduce the tonality or change the tonality, and it'll work only on that selected area. But let's just work on the color here with the highlights wheel. I'll just click on you and pull you out toward orange. I need to make it kind of extreme because this is such a light thing. Now you can see we're changing the color of only the selected area, only the area that we picked by using the secondary color correction tools. So that's how that works for that particular building. Let's move on down to this little shoreline shot here. We could use the secondary controls to pick out basically anything here that's relatively uniform in color. We can get the sky, or the shoreline there, or the ocean. I'll open up RGB curves here, and down there at the bottom, it'll have the same set of controls we just saw inside the three-way color corrector. Let's expand these guys again so you can see them as they change. Same routine as before, turn on the mask, it'll turn white. Click the eyedropper, click away, and there you've got that scene back again. I'm going to click on the ocean here, hold down the control of the command to get a fat selection. And I want to expand on that, so I'll click on the eyedropper plus there. We'll go down here toward the wider area. Controller command again and click that. Now you see we expanded it pretty well. These guys have all settled in now to their logical regions. Kind of a mid-range for luma. Saturation. There's the hue. We got kind of a greenish hue there. Let's expand the hue a bit here and see what we get. We don't want to get too much shoreline here. We want to basically stick with the water. We're probably not going to get all the foam because it's pretty much white. That black area there is the white foam, which is not going to be included in our changes here. Take a look at saturation, see if that makes a difference. Little difference. Got to be careful because we're bringing in the sky here a little bit, so not too much in the saturation department toward that end. And let's take a look at Luma here. If we expand Luma a lot toward the bright end, which we're not doing now, we're going toward the dark end now. But if we go toward the bright end, we're going to pick up the sky. See it showing up there in the corner there? Just that area should be enough. Knowing that we could block that out with a track matte key. Almost the entire ocean scene there will be selected now. Okay, let's move up here again. We'll turn off the mask. So now we're going to work with these graphs, and it would be nice to know before we work with them what the tonality range is here, but we don't have a tonal range definition here inside the RGB curves effect, but that's okay. I think we can figure out that that's basically midtones and some highlights there. We're probably going to work at the higher end of these graphs. If I want to make it bluer, I'm going to go here to the top end there, the highlights, and really bring up the blue highlights, and you can see we're already beginning to make a change there, particularly in the whites. We could take the mid-range and bring that up as well. Unreal blue color, right? Just to show you how it works. And notice we're affecting only this region here. This is the stuff we selected with the secondary color correction tools, which is so great. You can select regions like this based upon the hue and the saturation and the luma. One of the big advantages of using the secondary color correction group of tools inside these two effects is that you don't need to worry about creating a mask and then having that mask be animated and follow some motion. But here Premiere Pro follows the action for you by looking for the hue and the saturation and the luma. So this is yet another secondary color correction tool that allows you to select a region within a clip and then apply tonality and color changes to that region.